Can Medit Link be used to efficiently communicate with lab technicians?
The last thing we are gonna go over today is a question about communicating through Medit Link. This question was from January of this year, where Sam asked if there was a more efficient way to communicate with his technician through Medit Link. For example, he specifically asked if it's possible to send photos and get replies on Medit Link. He also requested Medit to make something like a portal where we can communicate with our lab in real time. Those are great ideas. Let's find the best way to communicate with dental technicians. In the case of our clinic, some prosthetics are produced in our in-house lab, while others are outsourced and manufactured in a remote lab. In the case of my in-house lab, the laboratory order form is written and delivered using an analog method as if you were hand delivering a note to someone. In fact, without using Medit Link, we fill out our own order form card and deliver them, and the technician looks at each card one by one and designs the prosthesis. There are advantages to using the familiar analog method, but there are drawbacks as well because sometimes cards can get lost and it's very time-consuming sorting the card. In house lab, we can direct talk to the technician, so there would never be a problem with communication. However, the situation is the complete opposite when the dental work is outsourced. In the second question, we mentioned that we give evaluation report on process result in Excel files. But the problem is that there is no open line of communication or sufficient exchange between the dentist and the technician. For example, when I drew a picture of what I thought the prosthesis would look like, it was not easy to convey and explain it to a remote lab. Jane, you are in charge of communicating with the outsourced lab. Could you explain how you do your job?
Sure. Since we use an e-chart, we copy and paste the required information written on the chart and send it as an attached file. In the case of Dr. Zhang's drawing, I take pictures with my iPhone and send them as attached file. But it is true that this process is tough for me.
I agree. It's true that the process of ordering prosthesis can be done with just one click. However, simply sending a text doesn't cover all of our needs. So today, we would like to discuss ways to communicate efficiently in a digitized environment, as well as provide our clinic protocol. Let's watch a video.
Based on his question, let's discuss 3 essential aspects for communication in a digital environment. The first aspect is how to efficiently place online lab orders using Medit Link. The second aspect is how to exchange opinions with technicians using a chat-like method. Lastly, let's propose a platform in the form of a portal where all communications can take place, as he suggested. Let's start by discussing efficient methods for lab orders. Good communication starts with a well-prepared lab request form. So, ideally, it should include all the necessary information for the lab work, the dentist's opinions, and detailed requirements. However, it is not practically easy to describe every case in such detail each time. And sometimes I find it more difficult to express details with the digital method compared to handwriting. Let's take diary writing as an example. As a longtime fan of the Franklin Planner, I have attempted several times to switch to the smartphone version, but ultimately failed. Although the digital method offers convenience in automatic recording and searching, I found it lacking compared to handwriting when it comes to detailing exactly what I want. Therefore, in the context of online lab orders, I believe it is necessary to fully utilize the advantages of the digital method while complementing it with analog techniques. First, let's discuss ways to maximize the advantages of the digital method. Starting from a blank state is a cumbersome task and sometimes can lead to missing important details by mistake. So, at our clinic, we do it this way. We use a pre-written form and fill in the blanks. Lab ordering begins by attaching the main format text document prepared for each computer onto Medit Link. Then, while checking the used items, enter the tooth number and accessory information for each item again. Of course, since information is selected and entered in Medit Link in advance during the registration process, the technician will be able to recognize it immediately if it is entered incorrectly. In this state, you can choose how to process it. For example, in the case of the scan body, decide whether to replace it with a ready-made abutment or create a custom abutment. Also, if you determine after scanning that the length of the ready-made abutment needs to be reduced, you can request this in advance so that the technician can proceed without any confusion. Furthermore, Dr. Zhang's personal preferences are also described below for reference. With such a detailed lab order form, we can significantly reduce the occurrence of remakes. Even if we describe details in text, there are times when we need to convey more detailed opinions. In such cases, we use the attachment feature to send photos, X-rays, and drawings. In the case information screen, you can click the attached file icon to attach files and add necessary notes. The picture below illustrates a classic technique that Dr. Zhang used 10 years ago. At that time, we would print and attach periapical X-rays with copings to all custom-made cases, draw the envisioned shape of the custom abutment on them with a marker pen, and send them to the lab. Although this method was cumbersome, it was undeniably effective. We continue to believe that a picture is superior to conveying information compared to dozens of characters of text. Therefore, we still prefer to send various detailed information as attachments. Next is the method for exchanging opinions. The questioner wondered if it is possible to chat via Medit Link, with technicians asking questions and dentists responding. Many users communicate using messenger chats. However, since video communication is not possible, there is the inconvenience of having to communicate through text messages with captured images. For more convenient communication, Medit offers a platform called Case Talk, where dentists and technicians can exchange opinions. As seen in the video, real-time conversations with technicians while viewing scan data are possible. Dr. Zhang mainly uses a method where he shares the screen in the ExoCAD design view using a remote meeting program, conducting real-time meetings. Sometimes, using the remote control function, the dentist can directly modify the design, allowing for more detailed communication and reflection of ideas. The last part is about the platform, similar to the portal suggested by the questioner, where all communication can take place. In fact, I had the opportunity to meet with a Medit developer last month, and they asked if I had any good ideas for a communication program. Although it does not exist yet, Medit plans to create a platform similar to Sam's suggestion. Therefore, I asked them to create a program like Trello. In reality, there are fixed checkpoints where communication is needed, but the problem arises because each person hesitates to communicate at those stages. So, it is important to create a system that allows communication at each stage. If we rely on chat-based communication, it is not easy to conduct online meetings in real time within a busy schedule. Therefore, it would be more practical to communicate in a way similar to the Trello program used by startups for project management, where you can see the progress stages and leave comments at each stage. So far, we have discussed how to communicate efficiently in a digital environment. I think dental prostheses are not made by the technician alone, but are a collaborative work between the dentist and the technician. Therefore, we must not forget that we always have the responsibility to communicate diligently. This concludes the answer to question 3.